You're in the mix. In the mix.
You're in the mix.
DJ Chris Oblivion. Come into my world.
The world of Insomnia.
Hi Akira, really nice to have you here on Insomnia Radio Show. It is an honor for me to have you and chit-chat about the artist Akira Kayosa. Although your achievements are very well known to most of the global trance community, let's start with the basics. To let people know you better, who is the artist Akira Kayosa? Where does he come from and what does he stand for in dance music industry?
Well, for those that won't know too much about me already, my real name is actually Russell Ogden. It's not as glamorous as Akira Kayosa. Akira is actually something that I started in 2006. It's obviously an alias. What do I stand for in dance music industry? I guess I stand for offering something solid. I try and offer all forms of music from the production side of things. Obviously, people will know me for my more signature sound, which is a bit tougher and more driving, but over the last sort of 18 months or so, and as I will continue to do in the future, I'll be offering all sorts of styles, all sorts of tempos, but of course for the original fans that have been there from the start, I won't ever drift away from my main style or what people should generally expect from me. So yeah, I guess that's what I stand for at the moment.
A typical question is next. When and how did you get involved with electronic dance music?
I guess I started listening to dance music at around about the age, I don't know, I must have been 11 or 12. It was like most people generally, it was probably the progression from sort of heavy metal rock music, big lead guitars in 80s sort of rock that my parents used to play me. And of course when I started listening to the early forms of sort of electronic music that was sort of groundbreaking in the UK, I just sort of got picked up on the wave of a lot of the guys that were doing stuff at that time and never looked back since really. And obviously as the trance and the sort of heavier dance beat came to fore in the late 90s, that's where I really got into it.
Very nice. Although DJing looks like your strong point, you amazed us with some great releases like Collective Hysteria and Alpha State EP. What's next for you as a producer?
On the DJ and producer side of things, I was actually a DJ long before I started producing. As I said previously, I did live in New Zealand throughout some of my teenage years, where I was a bedroom DJ, aspiring to just DJ, that was all. And I guess I've been DJing for around about 12 years now, I'd say, so a long time. I was playing in clubs before I was even 18. A guy that took me under his wing down in New Zealand actually gave me gigs before I was old enough to play in the places. So yeah, I've been DJing for about 12 years now. As a producer, I've only actively seriously been producing since 2006, and I've gained the sort of momentum that I've got now. That sort of started happening in around late 2008, early 2009. That's when things started getting quite serious. So yeah, since about 2006 I've been producing records.
That's marvelous. 2010 was great for you, but 2011 looks like it is going to be the year you will launch your space shuttle into EDM's star system. What are your aims, your goals, your unfulfilled passions, and what do you wish to achieve this year?
Yeah, 2010 was a really solid year for me. Seemed to fly by. Lots of great things happened, especially on the production front. Lots of originals, not so many remixes, but some good solid originals on good labels as well. Unfulfilled passions. I guess this year I will be continuing what I did last year. I will be doing a few remixes, selected remixes. Obviously time's very precious in the studio, so it'll only be the right remixes. Again, solid original works, and I will probably look towards the end of this year, look at producing a debut album, which will possibly see daylight in 2012 or the year after, depends how it goes. But those are my sort of short-term goals for this year on the production side of things.
Great Britain has given us mythical DJs, producers, and some outstanding moments in trance music. Is that legacy something that today's DJs from Great Britain can keep up?
Can the UK keep up? Oh, without a doubt. There's such a wealth of young, talented DJs and producers in the UK at the moment, as well as promoters as well, it's keeping the scene fresh and exciting, and as well as agencies, new agents, new promoters. There's all sorts out there that's just going to keep on making the cycle come round and keeping things fresh and lively, especially on the producer front. There's so many talented young producers out there in the UK at the moment, as well as DJs coming through too. It's a very exciting time. It's almost like the new generation is slowly beginning to try and wrestle some of what the old guard has had for a long time. So it's going to be an interesting 5 years, I think, in the next 5 years. So without a doubt, Britain will definitely keep it up.
And now, another typical one. What is your opinion about the global trance scene in general? Is it the Dutch against the world or not? Will this music style get further into the pop commercial zone, or it could return to the underground? What do you think?
My opinion on the global trance scene. Well, these are the standard heavyweight questions, aren't they, that always get people talking. I mean, I think globally the scene's very healthy. There's always lots of new stuff happening on lots of different continents, and there's always new stuff happening, new promoters, new DJs, new producers, and now there's a fresh generation of young fans and DJs and producers alike. It's not to say that the last 10 years worth of people have stopped going out, but I just think it's ever evolving, and there's always new stuff happening. It's never going to go away. It's always going to be there. I think it's in a very healthy state, and it's very exciting times at this point in time. Like I said, I don't necessarily think it's going to move more into the mainstream. I just think that a lot of people always dabble on the borderline of doing the full-on commercial stuff or doing the underground stuff. And of course there is the artists in the charts regularly that will sit in between doing a little bit of everything. You've got hip-hop artists, R&B artists that are using sounds that are very familiar in sort of peak trance tunes, like super saw sounds and distorted square lead sounds. These are sort of these are the sort of sounds that most producers in the dance scene will use in most of their tracks. So even the most underground club that you're going out to at the weekend, you're more likely to hear in an R&B tune at the moment in the charts. So I don't think it will move more back into the mainstream sort of commercial charts. I think it's always going to be like a good blend of the both, and that's only a good thing. The more sort of sounds and tunes that are out there that are going to get people into clubs at the weekend, following DJs, it's only going to help the scene on a more global scale always. So it's not a bad thing. A lot of people do frown upon stuff, or artists that try and do stuff in the charts that's a bit different, that can be a bit more mainstream, but there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
You are in this scene since 2006, if my memory doesn't fool me. I am sure that you were involved before that year. Which were the factors that made you decide to become more active?
I made the decision to really move into things. As I say, when I moved back from New Zealand in 2003, I've always felt I've had something to offer, and I want to take it to the global stage. I moved back to the UK to study music, try and get into production. I'd already got the buzz for DJing in New Zealand, playing local clubs at the young age of 16, 17. So I wanted to move back to the UK, get into the heart of where it's all happening, because obviously I used to go to the record stores, and my friends and stuff that I met over in New Zealand, it was all about the UK, and it was all about Europe. This is where the scene was. So I wanted to move back to where the scene was, and I wanted to test what I had, and I wanted to get into production, and I wanted to see how far I could take this thing. And so I guess without knowing it, in 2003, that's when I really decided. 2006 is when I really decided as a producer that this is what I want to do, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into doing it. So 2006, 2003 to move back and get in the heart of everything, 2006 to really go for it.
As I saw on the record stores, you have a new release which came out last week from First State Music. Tell us more about the sound and the evolution of you as an artist in this release.
Yeah, the new release with Mickey, which is a new alias called Alderney, which is of course coming out on Sanders' new label, which is under Black Hole. A great record, one of the recent records that I'm really proud of. It's a real sort of change in direction. It's a real nice dark melodic, moody sort of sound. As you know, I like producing records. Mickey loves producing records. He's a great producer. He's one of the best producers that I've worked with, collabing and all sorts. So yeah, it's a slight evolution of the sound which people will know me for. Mickey's always been quite a free spirit in the stuff that he produces. One thing can be very different to the next, so sometimes you have to rein him in, but you know, that's what I love about him. Awesome producer, awesome guy. You will definitely be seeing more from me and Mickey in the future. So yeah, look out for Oldney.
That's nice. And now, who was your biggest inspiration and who motivates you to get rolling on the wheels of steel? Who do you consider the best DJs in nowadays, and who are your best friends in the industry?
In terms of inspirations, a lot of the early stuff was friends with turntables and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I was really sort of fascinated by the music, like I said, at an early age. But it was the guys at school that had turntables that I was really fascinated with. And you know, one of my friends, Steve, had a set of decks, and he sort of played happy hardcore and old school. And this led to me getting my first pair of turntables, and you know, not looking back really. And as I said, once I moved over to New Zealand, I met a guy out there that sort of took me under his wing and gave me gigs and showed me the more sort of pro side of things. He even introduced me to sort of production as well, and still to this day he sort of helps mentor me and sort of tell me stuff when I need to know it. He's really anal about the real sort of deep side of production, and yeah, it still helps me out to this day. But on a more sort of standard sort of inspiration side of things, DJs and producers, you know, I won't go much further than sort of Ferry Corsten, Airwave, guys like that, especially Flush Slicked and Shock. Obviously Marco, the engineer behind those projects, with Claudio and Daniel. Also the stuff he did, DJ Energy. You know, I like that sort of European sort of tougher, uplifting sound, but I managed to sort of transfer it into stuff that I do, so it's not too full on or too sort of niche, I suppose. But those are sort of my main inspirations. You know, yeah, I take inspirations from all sorts really. I just take inspiration from life. You never know what it's going to throw up, and you know, the music is all about emotion. If you can transfer how you're feeling or how you want someone to feel when they listen to a piece of music, then you're doing the right thing.
Awesome. Tell us more about your plans this year. Gigs, radio shows, productions, collaborations, remixes. Basically, tell us everything we have to look out for as far as Akira Kayosa is concerned.
Yeah, the last few months have been really good for the gigs. Obviously, I've been playing at Gatecrasher recently. I was lucky enough to warm up for Paul van Dyk in October, which is their flagship club at the moment in the UK in Birmingham. It's an amazing club, probably the best club that I've played in the UK. Huge, great sound system, you know, great sort of production in there. Recommend it to anyone. And it was an honour, of course, to play before Paul and before so many people at that club. Also played in Italy on New Year's Eve, which was amazing. Really was great. Awesome bunch of people. I couldn't really ask more for a New Year's Eve event with better people, to be honest with you. It was a really amazing night, and one that won't be forgotten. In terms of more to come this year, I'm always looking to sort of, you know, obviously push the boundaries and try and push my sound on a more global scale. I'll be doing more sort of regular stuff in the UK with the bigger brands, and also I've managed to secure a few more debuts this year for new countries. You know, I've always got people asking me from Athens, or people in Greece on Facebook always ask me when I'm coming to play in Greece. You know, hopefully that's something that can be sorted out soon with the right people. I'd love to get over and play there for you guys. So yeah, you know, I expect more of the same this year that 2010 brought me, and just going to knuckle down, work hard in the studio, and hope the rewards will come off. So yeah, it's going to be a good year.
Akira, it's been a pleasure having you to Insomnia Radio Show. During the whole hour we were listening to your mix, and hope to hear this live on decks someday here in Athens. Thank you very much, and keep giving us good music and moments of joy.
Thanks, Chris. The pleasure's been all mine. It's been great answering your questions, and I hope everyone's enjoyed my mix and hasn't got too bored of me babbling on with my answers. As I said, it'd be nice to get over to Greece sometime soon and play for you guys. Just please keep updated with me and keep on following me. Continued support is always welcomed, and it's what keeps me going. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.